Okay, let's try this again. All right, we're gonna try this again. We're gonna try this one more time. Okay, so if you're watching live, comment live. If you're watching the replay, comment reply. All right. Ooh, my allergies. Okay, y'all. So anyway, tonight is literally the last night for the Emotional Mastery series. And so I wanted to do this from a very calm place where because I'm hormonal tonight. So uh I'm a woman, so I'm entitled to say that. So you're probably like, oh, coach is somewhere else, background, bedroom. So I usually do not do this, but I've been reflecting. And usually when hormonal season happens in our month, I tend to retreat and just kind of have my book, have my computer, and just kind of looking up some things. I was looking at some client roadmaps, but I'm back. I am back. Thank y'all so much. And we're going to talk about you're responsible for what you don't know. And this is look, this is take two. And so we're going to try our best to just kind of get through this because I still want to make sure that I finish this out with this commitment. Tomorrow is my free masterclass. If you have not signed up, sign up. If you have not signed on to the Contrarian Collective, sign on to the Contrarian because I am putting all my mindset content into that portal. This is the first time I've done that. Last time we just did lives. We just came onto the Zoom and had, of course, a wonderful time. But this time I am going to bring a lot of the material and content to the Contrarian Collective. So you will have your own portal where you can look and binge on a lot of my mindset content and just think about the last 4.5, 5 years of content that I have. It's so much and it's so good. And so if this is something that you need, and then on top of that, we have our weekly sessions, amazing, freaking amazing. Okay. Last time we had so many good discussions. And so I was just telling you all, some of you that saw my last live, and it was freezing a little bit. And I think it was my computer was overheating a little bit. And I forgot that I have this heated blanket on my feet, okay, and my lap. So I had to cool my laptop down. So that's why I was kind of sticking to. And then I stay out in the country. So I don't know if they got something to do with it, but I'm in like deep in the suburbs. So yes, we moved on out of the city. Okay. So but let's go ahead and get moving and get started. Okay. So you are responsible for what you don't know. Um, again, kind of tapping back into my client that I talked to earlier, how she's doing amazing. We're saying the same community we just found out. And she and I caught up on her life. I've been knowing her since 2010. I'm so proud of her. She's been doing so good. And it's just amazing how in entrepreneurship, when you finally get it, right? When you finally get it, you say, wow, if I would have just stayed in the game a long time ago and got the help that I needed, I was still like, there's no telling how far I would have been. And that's kind of me and her was kind of talking about, because when you have a work ethic that is amazing and astronomical, and you have integrity, which is some of the stuff I was saying the last take before we were really interrupted by some tech stuff. And I just, when you're so good and you got integrity and you have this work ethic that's out of this world, and people don't understand why you're so good at what you do, because we have a tendency to be so good at what we do, and it's just in you to be excellent. It's just in you to be good at what you do. And most women don't understand that. Like, you have and I think that those women, those type of women, struggle with imposter syndrome probably the most. And I always say that it's not that you are scared of what people are going to think about you, because you are so good at what you do, and because your excellence exudes from you, and because of not only that, but because your excellence and spirit of excellence has threatened so many people that were subpar, but it were in leadership positions, you're scared that someone is going to try to call you out for being excellent out here, when excellence is actually the norm. However, this is the gag though. The ones who struggle with imposter syndrome the most in so many ways are individuals that have the spirit of excellence, but don't want to be loud with it because they have been conditioned to stay quiet about their excellence. That's good right there. That's probably why God probably needed me to start over just for me to say that. Because that's good. That's good already. We're afraid of someone calling us out or making us feel bad for having the spirit of excellence, because we always had to kind of step back and let other people get in front of us, because we don't want to threaten leadership unintentionally. Because when you got people telling you, well, don't go in there and try to show nobody up. I'm like, I ain't trying to show nobody up. I really am not. I'm just here. Who's live? Hey, Quenisha, welcome back. Hey, Savon. I think Savon is here. Anybody else coming back live in the comments? Let me know you're here. Let's beef the algorithm back up. You know how we do. But I'm just saying, when we're in systems, right? And this is why I tell people, like, it's sometimes it's just in you to be excellent. Sometimes it's just in you to be awesome. Hey, lovely. Who is lovely? It's just in you to be good at what you do. And you can't help it. Many times you just can't help that you're good at what you do. But because you have been told, hey, Jordan, because you have been told to not go in there and do all this stuff and be all this and be all that. And you get out into entrepreneurship, think it's the same way in so many ways, when in actuality, it's not the ones who are good at what they do. It's the ones out here that still aren't good, but they don't have the imposter syndrome that the ones with the spirit of excellence does have. Because the ones with the spirit of excellence are the individuals that usually struggle with the imposter syndrome the most. But I'm going to tell you this, whether you struggle with it or not, you have to get help for that. Because I'm going to tell you this, it don't go away until you get coached for it to go away. Because I'm going to tell you this, I've seen it 1,000 times. There are some women with imposter syndrome that really want to keep being imposter syndromed. They're scared of letting that security blanket go of being seen. Because that's what it really is. It's not I'm scared of being imposter. It's the fear of being seen by people, because you were told to stand in the back. You were told that you do too much and that you're too good and that you da-da-da-da-da. But the system don't tell you what it really is. It's really about politics. It's really about social norms. It's about making leadership and the powers that be leadership in so many ways in the corporate sector to make them feel comfortable while everybody else stands still. That's why you got so many people that say they want you to wear pantsuits. They want you to wear dark clothes. They want your hair to look a certain way. You know, it's corporate policy. You know, and so you got to be careful because out here in entrepreneurship, societal norms go away. But now you got people that want you to be extra, extra polished and extra, extra made up and extra, extra this. When maybe your vision of being whatever is super relaxed, but you're still responsible for being coached out of that. And a lot of women don't want to be coached out of things that's going to help them to soar to the next level. And so when I talked to that former client of mine, she was like, I just want to thank you. And she told me this. She said, I just want to thank you for pushing me out of that mindset. She said, because I really, really was so scared to step out into uncharted waters, but I knew that every job I went to, I was going to have an issue with people just because of who I was and my values. And I said, that's what I'm saying. A lot of women don't understand that. When it's in you to be excellent and your work ethic is way too big for that place, no matter where you go, you're going to be quote unquote punished for just having a work ethic. And it doesn't even come from a standpoint like you have to be like you're not trying to show nobody up. You're not trying to go in and you know, you're not trying to do any of those things. You're really just being you. And a lot of people don't like when you're just being you. Because being you, okay, being you is authentic. You can't help that you're good at what you do. But I'm gonna tell you this too. What messes you up sometimes is that you can try to be secure in spaces. You could try your hardest to be secure in spaces where you are just too big for. And this is why you keep running into the same problem because you're not supposed to be there. I always tell people, and I'm going to be honest with you, and I don't care what nobody say. Corporate America is not for people who are dreamers and visionaries and have strong work ethics and freedom, want freedom. And you can talk about me if you want, you know, well, I still like there's a reason why you got spiritual warfare on that job. I told y'all I'm in the realm where all things are possible. I am not in the realm where I'm going to tell you to keep your job just because, oh, the economy is not good. I'm only going to tell you to keep your job if I know that you don't have the emotional management skills to hold yourself. And your work ethic is average. I got to see your work ethic come up a little bit before I start like advising you to do stuff like that. But if you got a trash work ethic or a mediocre work ethic, I am not going to advise you to leave your job and your emotional management skills are off. I'm not going to tell you to do that. And I'm usually right. Every woman that I have told, it's time for you to step out of their job. It's time for you to step out. It's time for you to step out. And they listen to me, they will get contracts on the very next day when they start leaning into the faith. Because in corporate America, institutions that want you to settle, that want you to subscribe to a life of false structure just so you can stay in a place of control and surveillance. So they can watch over you to make sure that you don't create and heal the world. You know, we got a world that wants to stay sick. We have a world that wants to stay under the lulu of sickness and disease. I don't care who, like, even it doesn't, and I'm not going to go into politics, but I'm just going to say this is that it doesn't matter which side you lean on. It doesn't matter what side you lean on. It's the same. It's all cut from the same cloth. And I wish people understand that. I'm so sick of seeing people say the same thing. You need to read, and you need to comprehend that you're still responsible for yourself. You're responsible for your own emotional management. Even no matter who is in quote unquote leadership, because to be honest, a lot of people are not okay. And you have to choose which side you're going to lean on. Are you going to lean on the side that's all about not being okay? Or are you going to lean on the side where we're going to the promised land? And I don't care what nobody say. We're focused. And you got to decide what that looks like for you. So when it comes down to responsibility, right? This is the last video, like I said, of the Emotional Mastery series. This is a great topic for tonight. But I want to just kind of key into a couple of areas here, because I think we need to just bring it to our attention. I don't care that you're out here in entrepreneurship, and I don't care that you want to, I really want to do this. I really want to do that. And you can want to do these things, but it's going to take you stepping into responsibility, radical responsibility for your own life. And it doesn't matter if you don't know anything, because you can get out here in business and entrepreneurship, and people think that all I need is this. At first, you do need strategy. At first, you absolutely do need strategy. But then at some point, once you get strategy down packed, you're going to need what? Now you're going to need mindset and capacity. I'm just telling you. Because when I tell you this is it, this is it. This is it. This is it. So here we go. This one again, the getting is about to get good. When it comes down to responsibility and radical responsibility, y'all here? Who's here? If you're coming in, comment live if you're watching live. Comment replay if you're watching the replay after this is over. Let's get the likes up, y'all. Let's get the likes up. Who is here? Let me know who's here so I can shout you out, honey. Let me know. People tickle me every time I say that. People run away. They get, she know I'm watching. Let me move. Like, people are weird. People are so weird. Hey, Quinn. Hello, hello, hello. Come on in. Okay, y'all. So let's talk about first. Let's just hop in. As a leadership coach, I often tell women, and I've said this on TikTok, especially on my old account. I'm going to have my old account, not the one I still have, but the one before it, because this is my third TikTok account. But on my old TikTok, and I went viral on that video, I'll never forget it, but I said that women are responsible for what they know and for what they don't know. And a lot of people are like, oh my God, I never thought about it like that. And I'm like, yes, like you're still, hey Jordan, you're responsible for the things. Oh, excuse me, you're responsible for things that you don't know. And a lot of women get very flustered about that, because that's when they claim victim mentality. And we have to bring up all of these different things, all these different reasons as to why their life has not turned out the way that they wanted it to. And even in entrepreneurship, we go back and forth to these jobs. We'll get out here. And then when we don't get the help that we need and the guidance that we need to expand our capacity, then we'll blame it on something, or we'll say, oh, well, people just weren't buying, when in fact, you just didn't have any sales and marketing skills, or you just got too lazy about it, or you just, I don't know, something happened where you just could not keep up. Because sometimes it's just a merely of a fatigue, and you're not pivoting in time. Okay. And you're not pivoting and leaning into the buyer market. Period. Like the work doesn't change. It's just the approach has to change. Does that make sense? So when women are addicted to a certain approach and they don't change and they don't pivot, what happens is that they become too stubborn to lean into the new. And so they usually go back. Okay. They go back to structure spaces. And when I say structure spaces, I mean, they either they lean more into relationships. Okay. I told you, women, when they're not, and this is, I want to make sure I'm trading my words very lightly, because I don't want women to take what I'm saying and feel like I'm attacking this or I'm attacking that. I'm not doing that. But what I am saying is that when you haven't become confident in your own ability to lead yourself, and you don't have to be babysat emotionally because you're unhinged, and you haven't learned how to collect yourself and control your own emotions. And so you go to institutions in different types of categories, or let me say this, the categorical structures to be managed in. Okay. And what are those examples? Okay. Those examples from a sociological standpoint are in the areas of corporations. Okay. Corporations, which means that you report to someone for a function, to work in a function that you're quote unquote qualified for. Okay. From a skill set position. So you step into that role because you are responsible for a certain function at that company, and then you are compensated at a fixed amount to report to that company, and you're given a schedule. You're given you're given what time to go to lunch, what time to come back, what time to leave, how many days that you can take off for your own mental health, or days where you want to go on vacation, or to take a break from society, okay, to take a break from capitalism, to take a break from whatever, even though you're still participating in capitalism, because you have to save up for a vacation, you got to save up for the hotel and the flights and all this kind of stuff. So you're still participating. It's just that you are taking a break from the structure. Okay. You get my drift? Okay. So you take a break from the structure to go on vacation. And then you come back to structure because of the stability that it provided you. Amen, somebody. I'm in the house. I'm in the house. So you rely and you outsource your responsibility of payment and compensation to HR and payroll and the owners of the company to supply you with payment. And then they become the caregivers and the caretakers of your destiny. Here's another one. Church, okay, religion is also an institution. Okay, you're not taught to necessarily manage your emotions. Okay, you're taught to outsource your spiritual walk to someone, or what they call a pastor, which is a shepherd of a what? Flock. And when we think of the shepherd and sheep methodology in the metaphorical piece of that, you can't go outside the fence. or a big bad wolf is going to get you. So you go back into religion to be in a structured space where you go every Sunday or Saturday, depending on how your church is set up, okay? Every Saturday or Sunday, to go in and feel relief from capitalism, even though you're still participating in capitalism, because that is where you get your moral responsibility as far as your spiritual nature is concerned. You have to be saved and delivered from yourself. Because you were a wretched undone. That's another way of keeping you in a structured system. So depending on the denomination, okay, depending on, because I came from Church of God in Christ / apostolic / Church of God or Assemblies of God, depending on what race you are, because Assemblies of God is just the fraternal twin of Church of God in Christ, because it was the same. Okay, Pentecostal, charismatic, run around the church, fire baptized, speaking in tongues, lay hands on the sick, slain in the spirit. Okay, heaven or hell, holiness or hell. I went through all of that, baby. Travailing in the spirit, laying prostrate before the throne, calling down heaven, saying Jesus, 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 and watch him change you right before you. All of that. I went through all that. Okay. Structure. So it's a place for you to go and emotionally unravel and get goosebumps. And there is also a protocol. So you had hierarchies in the church realm where you have the bishops and the apostles and the missionaries and the deaconesses, okay? Evangelists. So you had protocol and hierarchies and armor bearers and assistants and all kinds of different rank and order. Just like you got rank and order in corporations. Here we go. Here's another rank and order. Marriage. Okay. That's another structured space. Marriage is also an institution for women to stay in spaces where they can be as emotionally unhinged as they want to, because their husband is going to be the protector and provider for her to be as unhinged she wants to. Unless you have a man that's just as emotionally unhinged as you are. And in that case, you're expected to keep him together because he ain't got himself together either. Okay. I'm talking about structures. Okay. I'm talking about sociology. I'm not talking about Jay's opinion. So I don't want you to get on here in the comments and say, oh, she's just against. No, I'm not against. I'm trying to tell you the nature of women. This is really about you. I hope you understand that this complete planetary experience is to keep you hemmed down and bolted down. Why? Because you are responsible for soul entry. I'm just telling you. Your womb and your mind is up for grabs. It's on sale. Okay. So what is the other institution? What's the next institution? The next institution. The next institution is education. Okay. There are hierarchies in education. There are tiers of education. You have preschool, you have kindergarten, you have elementary, you have middle school / junior. It used to be junior high, now it's middle school, and now it's high school. And then you have post-secondary. So bachelor's degree, associates, and then bachelor's, and then master's, and then doctorate level, et cetera. So these are different stages of educational rank and order. Okay. So as long as you were in institutions, you can't rebel. You can't be free because you're looked over. You're looked over. Mika said, my pastor told me one time that I was my children's father, stability. You're his rock. Boy, the lies they tell women, boy. Woo, my Lord. You're his rib. What? I came out of the womb of a woman, you silly goose. Sometimes you gotta get to a place where you gotta think about what folks saying to you. You hear me and say that you my rib. How am I your rib? I didn't come from it. What are you talking about? That's the craziest thing. Women, you are his rib. How? Boy. Anyway, so what we have been told is that as a woman, we men make your life easier. Well, they make it hard for you first. So let's start there. Okay. And this is not a man hating conversation. You know, uh, I love men. I think men are beautiful. But we also have to realize that a lot of this capitalistic society mumbo jumbo that we've been fed is to keep us in a space where we're always running into problems. Okay. Problems such as, traffic lights and having to get to different places so that we can communicate and commune with other individuals in our society, to have communities. Okay, you have to pay to be in communities. You have to, the more secluded and separate the community, the more you pay to see more exclusivity and more of your kind, right? At first it was race and now it's like-minded, right? You have to pay to be in those particular spaces. And you have to have certain barriers because why? And these are things that come up. You like, well, why you gatekeeping? Why? So, when we hear that, you gatekeeping. And it's the gatekeeping is based on the emotions and the time and the energy that it takes to give your time and give your energy to other individuals who may or may not value what comes from you, even though you've worked for it. You sacrifice for the information. You sacrifice for the education. You sacrifice going through certain life experiences in those particular institutions, and then you go and talk about it. And you teach other people either how to be free from it, how to manage yourself in it, how to become better in it, or to leave it. Do y'all see how all that align? Did y'all peep game on how I navigated it? So all of these institutions are either there to keep you in a space of seclusion and to keep you in a category and to keep you feeling as if you're always rising to a certain level so that you can look down on someone else because you're more advanced than them. So when you get into entrepreneurship, ain't no hierarchy. Now, they'll try to make it their way, right? They'll try to keep or provide some level of separatism and hierarchy. But that's imaginary. That's all imaginary. It's all made up. But one thing that translates through all of these institutions, even into entrepreneurship, is a common thread. A common thread between all of the institutions, including entrepreneurship, which is a freedom piece, right? Is responsibility. Responsibility is the common thread through all of the institutions that I just named, as well as entrepreneurship, because responsibility is the ability to take ownership of your actions, your decisions, and outcomes. So either you are going to be responsible for something, or you are going to outsource your responsibility and someone is going to take ownership of you. Okay. Is this helping? You picking up? Are you picking up, scooping up what I'm putting down? Because either you're going to be owned by the institutions thereof, or you're going to have to step out into entrepreneurship and take responsibility and ownership of your own destiny. See, in the institutions, you outsource your responsibility and ownership. You're tracked, okay? You're measured up. There's surveillance. You're being watched. Okay. You're being looked over. You're being watched over. But in entrepreneurship, you own your own destiny. You're responsible for your own actions and your own decisions and your own outcomes. You know what used to be the number one question that women used to ask me in entrepreneurship? How do you structure? How do you structure? How do you structure? Can you talk about structure? Can you talk about how to structure your day? That used to be the first question a lot of women used to ask me. How do you structure? And I used to be like, why do women ask me all that? Like, all you gotta do is like make your to-do list and go through what you say you're gonna do that day and da, 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 da. And it's but then as more and more I started to study, because as a practitioner in psychology, I graduated with a degree in psychology, and then I went on and got my master's in counseling psychology, and then I went and studied human resources and all that kind of stuff, and went through the whole HR piece and had a team and all this other stuff, and then got into entrepreneurship, going into coaching, right? And I used to be like, why do women ask me that all the time? And not understanding that structure was women's primary piece is because most of their life they were unstructured in structured spaces. Did y'all catch that? And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you why I say this once I kind of explain. When I see unstructured women in structured spaces, immediately I think about women with multiple jobs. Like that's probably the most unhinged, unstructured, in structured spaces. Those women just cannot trust themselves with time. Like at their innermost being. Like they don't even know that. But when I hear women say, I gotta get a second job, I gotta get a third job, I'm like, why you gotta go get all these jobs? Like, why? And I start thinking about like, because they don't trust themselves with free time. Now you're in your mind, like the women is thinking, like, I'm gonna make this money. I'm gonna make this money. I'm gonna make this money. I'm gonna go make this money. Like, I gotta go make this money. But why do you have to go in spaces where they're gonna tell you how much you're gonna get paid, and I'm going to get this overtime, and I'm like, I gotta go do all that because our connection is with doing. And I'm going to be honest with you. When you identify more with doing rather than getting into a space or getting into more practice of thinking and being, that is a woman who struggles with emotional management and stability in herself. I don't want anybody to feel like I'm calling them out. If you are a person like Jay, you talking to me because I got like 2 jobs. Seriously, I'm on my second job now in the break room listening to you. Now, I want you to understand, like, this is why you have to work on this stuff. This is real talk. And this is why also it's so good to step into freedom, because you start to look at things on a deeper esoteric level that you didn't know before, and nobody taught you these things because you were told something completely different. And this goes over people's heads, because when you're free, when a woman is free and she starts to educate other women on freedom, I am literally creating other monsters to the patriarchy, because they want you to stay docile and they want you to stay infantilized. An infantilized woman, an unhinged woman, is a breath of fresh air to the patriarchy. They want you dumb as a doorknob, baby. They want you smart and off. Because if you can get a woman who is a doer and not a thinker, and she doesn't know anything about her worth, she doesn't know anything about her capacity, she doesn't know how amazing she is, and she really, really can run circles around a whole lot of people, but because the only thing that keeps a woman back from stepping in to her fullness is her ability to learn how to manage her emotions. Once she get that down pat, everybody better watch out. So here we go. Radical responsibility. What is responsibility? It's the ability to take ownership of your actions, your decisions, and your outcomes. Okay. It means what? Holding yourself accountable. Not somebody else holding you accountable per se on a long-term level. But short term, you may have to be held accountable for your own work ethic. When women outsource their accountability because they can't keep up with themselves, they can't step into the full acknowledgement of themselves and honor time. So what happens, and this is the thing, I've said this time and time again, women have to learn how to be self-accountable. They gotta, you really do have to call yourself up to the carpet. You have to call yourself to the carpet. And when you don't call yourself to the carpet, you try to find someone else to keep you responsible. And this is why a lot of times when women hire coaches, they don't want accountability. They leave the calls. I gotta work. I had to work, coach. I had this going on. I had that going on. And me and my husband went, and I got into it with all kinds of stuff come up. And when I try to teach this, I be trying to tell women, like, baby, you're gonna be messed up. I can't so this is what I was saying on the other video before I got cut off. is that the Contrarian Collective, I'm putting all my mindset videos in that portal, because I recognize that women, you need help. Okay, mindset is 80% of the work, and I don't think y'all understand that. A lot of y'all need pre-mindset. You want to do business so bad, and you like, I want to man, I don't want to, but you don't have the capacity. You don't have the capacity to even start. You don't have the capacity to structure. That's going to be about a month right there, because structure is very important. And if you don't know how to create structure for yourself by yourself, you are going to go back to structure spaces because you don't get it. You're not disciplined. Even at your old age, you are not disciplined. That's why I tell women, like, the contrarian is against. And you don't even know that you're against it. You try to be in flow and you're not. That's why a lot of y'all are here. A lot of y'all are here because you are contrarian in spirit and you just don't know how to live it out. Some of y'all are living it out, and I'm proud of you. But the reason why, and I'm gonna go back, I gotta swing back around here with this point. When women, hey Deisha, when women are in structured spaces, they're unstructured, running back to structured spaces. And this is why I say, if you are not careful, you will start to go back and forth, back and forth. You will be more of a wishy-washy entrepreneur. And then you will avoid the work of capacity expansion in yourself. This is why a lot of you can't take on more than one client or take on more than a few clients, because you're not learning how to lean in and go and past Jesus. You're not going past the upper limit. I'm telling y'all, I'm not saying this stuff just to blow smoke up your tailpipe. I'm really saying this because this is the truth. I had to go through that myself. I had to go through training to open up the capacity to receive more than what I was ready for. And that includes money. Because, hey, let's go here. Let's go here. A lot of women don't even trust themselves with more money. This is why they get scared of making more money. This is why a lot of them, they get taxes behind and they ain't got this set up right. A lot of them be 5-7 years building businesses before they even get an LLC, and the LLC ain't nothing but a couple $100, depending on what state you in. I think it's $300-$400 in Tennessee. And you got to keep up the little annual fee thing every year. This is why a lot of women be saying, I just want to make $5K a month. Girl, what is that? After IRS get through slashing you in the back, you're going to end up with $30.25 in profit. We don't trust ourselves to make more money. I'm reading y'all like a book. I'm reading y'all like a book because I know us. I've been working with women for a very long time. Heck, I'm a woman. And one of the things I'm telling the truth, because I want y'all to understand that a lot of people are not talking like this, because many times a lot of women get you with feminine energy and y'all don't even know what the heck that is. And this is why you really can't operate in your feminine energy, because you think feminine energy is a crazy wild horse. And it's really not. It's a woman that is creative and intuitive. And she knows how to create stability within herself. Someone had to stop me the other day and say, Coach, I don't know what you're talking about, because you're like literally one of the most feminine women I've ever met. Because I'm like, I got to balance masculine and feminine. She was like, but Coach, you really are way more feminine than anything. And I was like, she was like, because the way you work, like, even though, yes, you're very maternal. And I go off on camera. I go off on these lives. But when I'm coaching you, I'm listening to you and I want you to feel supported and I want you to feel good. But there's also an emotional stability that you have to have in order to receive other unstructured women into the space of structure. So there's a certain level of structure that I have to have for my clients to model structure, to give them a sense of be creative, be intuitive, enjoy your business, and have fun with it, but also be the example and the leader in your own business by standing in a structured space as structure in yourself. Own your actions, own your decisions, and own your outcomes. Here we go. This is another one. Let's extend past it. So we know that responsibility is a common thread between all institutions, including entrepreneurs. And entrepreneurs is not really a structure. It's a creative structure that a person has, right? That has to create within themselves so they can flourish in it, because you're still in a capitalistic society, right? So you have to understand self-responsibility. When we talk about responsibility, it even means to hold yourself accountable, right? Even for areas where you lack knowledge. Here we go. Here we go. It means holding yourself accountable even for areas where you lack knowledge. So even if you didn't know something, you're still responsible for that. And actively, in place of that, you're actively seeking the solutions and the guidance and the help and support to bridge those gaps. Because what happens is that when you don't bridge those gaps, you widen the unstructured spaces, which increases the chance of you becoming a negative in your business. You become a liability in your business. You don't trust yourself in your own business. You no longer stand on business. You lose the joy in your business. And so you return to structured spaces still as an unstructured woman. I'm going to tell you what it looked like when you have created structure and you know structure, and you don't stand on business about structure and you go back to structured spaces. You are so uncomfortable in those spaces. You like, let me get right back out here. But also, when you understand structure, because you become a woman who knows how to structure herself, all you got to do now, because you know you've mastered that characteristic, you've mastered that trait, you know what happens instead? Now you can fully 100% rely on spirit. That's when you start walking by faith. For real. And it ain't about running after the, what is it called? Running after the what's in. Oh, she over there doing drop shipping. Let me go run over there and do that. Anybody here? I'm just telling you. So in business and personal growth, responsibility is the foundation of success. It ensures that you're proactive. Oh, whoa, hold on, wait a minute. Proactive. Coach, what? Mm-mm. 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 In business and personal growth, responsibility is the foundation of success. Responsibility is so it ensures, it ensures, it ensures, it ensures. That's right, Sahana. It ensures that you're what? Proactive, resilient, okay? And constantly in the spirit of excellence and improving at all times. You're committed to improvement by your standards, not by somebody else's so you can get a raise. Not by what somebody else think of you so you can keep your job because you trying to secure yourself. I don't have to perform for anybody. What does that look like? I'm going there. I'm about to go there. What does it look like in marriage? Laying down on your back when you don't feel like it. You want to do it? Yeah. Okay. What does it look like in corporation? What does it look like in corporations? Working through lunch, signing up for a committee, and you really don't want to. School, extra credit, extra homework, signing up for organizations and clubs and associations, volunteer, just so you can get a scholarship, just so you can get this, just so you can get accepted into this. What does it look like at church? Joining a choir. Teaching Bible study. Join auxiliary board. Even when you know you're supposed to be doing this, that, and the third over here, and you hemming up all your what time because you don't know what to do with it. So you gotta fill up your time with all this extra stuff because the needle. See, people think when I say stuff like that, people automatically think like, oh my gosh, like you start embezzling money, and that's extreme, right? That's just thievery, right? That's a whole nother. I'm talking about what looks like the good stuff, right? What looks like the things that you're supposed to do, right? It's what they teach you to stay in right standing in that institution. And see, ain't nobody put it like that before. You haven't even thought that deep about it. You know that scripture that says, where the spirit is, there is liberty. Where the spirit of God, so spirit is spirit, right? There's no boundaries. There's no, as much as we try to personify God and personify spirit in so many ways, because spirit is God in so many ways, like there is a certain we try to personify and put God in the box. And to fit our teaching and feeling a sense of structure. God don't want me to do that. God told me to put my business down because he told me that. When I tell you, I stop listening to people when they say stuff like that because that's crazy to me. How you gonna say a God, a spirit that just no, you ain't structured. That's all it is. You don't have the structure. Now, see, people start dropping off when I start talking like that because you're used to being unraveled. This is why many times, and this is coming from somebody who used to preach, okay? It's coming from somebody who used to preach. This is why many times you have to go to church because your emotions are all over the place. You need somebody to tell you that your struggle is going to help you with something else. And it's very basic information. A lot of people cannot take advanced knowledge. They cannot take advanced information that's outside or higher than the institutional knowledge, because institutional knowledge is survival-based behavior. Ooh, I don't know where that came from. That was Institutional knowledge is need-based behavior. It's need-based information. Where my pen at? I gotta write that down because I don't care what y'all say. That came from the heaven realm, honey. What I say? Woo! Institutional. I'm literally writing this down. Is need-based information. mm, mm, mm. This is why I remember somebody said this. I don't know who said this, but I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna look up the quote. They say that when you are creating anything, like when you're creating art, or when you're getting ready to create art, and you ask how, God leaves the room. How, when you have a problem or anything that demands creation, and you immediately start asking how, God leaves the room. Okay. Mm-hmm. Someone said, oh my God, that's why grandpa used to say, said wisdom and knowledge left college. Uh-huh. Because you're told what to think. You're not taught how to think. You're not in institutions, you are told what it means to be a good wife. You're not taught how to be your authentic self as a good wife, right? And you're not taught order. No, let me go back. No, that's not what I meant. You're taught what order looks like in a marriage. And I'm saying that from somebody that has been married before. This is why a lot of times now marriages are struggling, because women now have a sense of being able to take care of themselves. And people are waking up to the fact that women are actually humans as well. Women are not objects. They're no longer property. Woof. Come on. Oh, there we go. I'm tapping in. Here we go. There we go. Come on, God. Come on, God. Oh, I'm finna mess with some of y'all. You may want to log off. Because when I go back to responsibility, when a woman becomes responsible, When she steps in, and responsibility is an honor. Let me throw that out there. Okay. Responsibility is the ability to take ownership of your what actions, decisions, and outcomes. So it used to be where the head of the household take responsibility and ownership and act of the actions, decisions, and outcomes on the head of the household. It's on that person. Your children are a byproduct, and you take ownership. If they go out there looking and they got snot running out their nose and they clothes tattered and it's got holes all in their shirt and all that, and you around here looking like Hollywood, and people look at your children and be like, okay, why is your baby snot running down their nose and you around here with Chanel glasses on? Because they're gonna hold you responsible. They're gonna hold the child responsible. They're gonna hold you responsible. And if you're a wife and you all tattered up and sick and stressed out, mad, and then you got your partner over here that's the head of the household, spouse or whatever, and they gotta take responsibility for the way. Oh, here we go. We go to the next level. You go to the next level at work, at corporate. If the team is jacking up their numbers, who are they gonna call? They're gonna call the what? Manager. Say, what's going on with your team? But see, they try to put middlemen in front of there. They got leads now. They got senior representatives. They they got senior manager. It's now we got to put hierarchies within a hierarchy because you need different levels of responsibility. So everybody won't be looking at this person. But if your team is trash, they're gonna go to the manager. It's usually how this works. They're gonna say, Mary, what's going on with your team? Because their numbers dipped this past month. That you got to take responsibility. What actions, decisions, and outcomes? Okay. So they're gonna hold you responsible for them. But when your classroom, your students, okay, your students, when they test scores are dropping and everybody in your class failing, they're gonna call the teacher and them. In the room, in the office, the principal say, Miss, what's going on? We got a lot of absences. They're gonna call in at 9th grade principal, 10th grade principal, 12th grade principal, say, what's going on with everybody dropping? What's happening? Then they're gonna call the principal. See, it's gonna go up and up and up the food chain. The responsibility falls on that person within the institution. Yo, wake up. See, when I start talking in those in that way, it makes people nervous because now I have to drill down responsibility. Nobody wants to take responsibility, especially women. Women do not like responsibility unless it's for their children. And we'll go ham for our kids, but we don't also, in that same regard, we don't live for them. We'll die for our children. We'll die for our children. We'll go in. So we'll go to jail for our children if it come down to it. But we won't live for them. And I think that's a problem in itself. We will take responsibility for their safety. We will take responsibility for their basic needs. But when it comes down to their destiny and legacy, all of a sudden the buck stops there. Man, I ain't really got to do this business. But see, 3 years ago, you were all about generational wealth. What happened? What happened to generational wealth? That's no longer your responsibility. Some of y'all got kids. Hello? Y'all woke? Don't go to sleep now. Look, don't log off. She calling me out. Because that's what you said. Because now if you want responsibility, it's going to take spiritual promotions. Because now everything by way got to come. It's got to, and see, no, We here, Coach. We trying our best to keep up because I want you to graduate in your spiritual nature to receive information that's going to help you come up. And this is another thing too. You are responsible for the information I'm giving you tonight, to take some introspection and some reflection and say, you know, what areas in my life am I dropping the ball when it comes down to divine responsibility? Divine responsibility is actually a thing. Because what you are building is past your lifespan. Your lifespan is going to end at some point. And you're going to, like, whatever you have built has to at some point outlast you. And that's when you become an owner of your destiny, owner of a legacy. And then your children pick it up. Your children, I remember Bobby Hemmings used to say this. It was a tape. He said, the children are not the future. You are the future. He said, that's a lie. He said, that's a lie to keep you look like to outsource all of your, what you didn't do onto your children. All the things that you failed at, you look at your children to pick it up. Oh, so you can't get mad at your children because they're lacking this, that, and the third. It's because you didn't prepare them. You're saying that they are the future because you're relying on them to take care and to fill in the gaps that you didn't do. So you're putting the responsibility on them when it's really still yours. Even when they become adults, there needs to be some level of responsibility of the legacy that you're creating. Well, they grown now, they can decide for themselves, but it was okay when they was living with you, or it was okay when they were in middle school, but then all of a sudden they're 18, 19, 20 years old, and you don't no longer care better no more. Okay. Well, when it comes down to time, okay, even when it comes down to time, they have more than enough tools out there to help you with systemically creating structure around time. They have CRMs, they have calendars, digital and paper. They even put them with stickers now and markers. They give you whiteboards, they give you digital planners, iPads, plugins, Notion templates. They give you all kinds of tools to help you manage one of the most important currencies of all time, which is time. Minutes, hours, weeks, months, quarters, years, to help you manage and document and put in your time. Because the way you manage your time is the way you manage everything else. So if you are not adhering to a schedule, if you're not adhering to routine, if you are not learning what wealthy people do or what rich people do, because you got to be rich first before you become wealthy. I don't know if anybody told you that. You got to get rich first. And you can't stay there if you're going to be wealthy, because you got to go into wealth. And wealth is when your money literally makes money for you over lifetimes and generations. That's when you're living in a state of abundance. And if women are not careful, you will have to marry rich or marry wealthy. And a lot of us don't have the networks and the proper surroundings and environment, or even the investment within ourselves to even merit at that level because we don't know anybody up there. So what do? You have to get rich first. And so if you think you're going to marry, I've heard women even say, someone recently, I'm marrying somebody that makes six figures. That person is already off because six figures is no longer a flex. A man that's making six figures is not impressive. And I don't care if it's your husband or not. Six figures is literally lower middle class now. So even if you're at six figures, that don't impress me at all because I'm going to tell you, baby, we tripled that last year. So I'm still 2 up from you. And I'm not even bragging. It's just that there's nothing about that is even cute. Okay. So miss me. Okay. So that's not even, and see, even me saying what we generated last year, I'm still not considered quote unquote rich. What I'm trying to tell you is that you will have to realize that if you're going to harness your time more than ever before, you have to spend more time managing your time and structuring yourself so that you can use time wisely. Because freedom is the end game here. And once you get free from institutions, then at that point you can be guided by the Spirit into green pastures where your soul is then restored. You can be led beside the still waters. Man stops being your shepherd. You see, I'm going to spin this. And the Lord becomes your shepherd. This is not, I'm not preaching here. I'm not speaking Christianity here. I just want you to, the energy, you begin to lead yourself. Did y'all pick that up? Man is no longer your shepherd. You don't need man to lord over you at that point. You go from being Eve to Lilith. I wish y'all could. And you become the patriarchy's worst nightmare. This is why when women are talking like this, you always probably got one man that's watching. A wolf seeking who he may devour. Because if you look at the and see what's so funny is that when we do hear the story of Lily, right? They'll say, oh, it's just mythology. It's just mythology. It's not the word. Because Eve was put under Adam. Right? But what was so, and the reason why I put this, you're responsible for what you don't know, is because when I tell people that 2 things happened in the Garden of Eden, according to the Bible, was Eve ate the fruit. Whatever that fruit was, she was quote unquote tempted to eat the fruit. But as you go back and read some stuff, God never told Eve anything about that fruit. And nowhere in that same passage did Adam put her up on game about what to do and what not to do in the garden. She had no idea that she wasn't supposed to eat. She was just told by the serpent. That, you take a bite out of this, boo, you don't know everything. But God don't want y'all to know everything. So what happened is that Eve ate of the fruit. And according to that Bible, she was held responsible. Now, of course, God went to the husband. Went to Adam and was like, did y'all eat the fruit, Adam? Adam was like, well, the woman that you gave me. That's what I told people. I said, her own husband threw her under the bus. And y'all know I be paraphrasing. Adam threw her under the bus. So I'm like, what are you talking about? And so she looking like, what? So she was cursed. And come on, here we go. You're responsible for what you don't know. So the sins of mankind, women as a whole, were told we were cursed because Eve did what she did. And so you got a whole tribe of women, whole gender, that's mad at Eve. When I get to heaven, I'm going to go and find Eve. But see, you didn't know Eve. You never met Eve. You didn't have a conversation where Eve didn't give you the rundown when you got, like, you didn't have a handbook that said, don't eat. Don't do this. Look, let me tell you something. I ate the apple or I ate the fruit. It wasn't because we don't know what kind of fruit it was. So let me back. Girl, y'all, when you get into earth, let me just give you the rundown. I messed up. You're going to have pain in childbirth. Okay. You're going to have this going on. You're going to have issues with this. I'm just giving you the rundown before you get there. And then you didn't keep that knowledge. You came in learning through time of what happened and why it is to come, because you need to know why you're going to go through child pain. You're gonna learn why you have to be under the man in so many ways, because you have to. You're trying to figure out, why do I have to do this? Because the Bible says so. Really? Literally, that's why. Are you kidding me? A lot of women do not like, oh, you ain't ready for that. You're not ready for that type of information, because a lot of times you're told these things as a justification as to why things are and why you have to stay in structured spaces as an unstructured woman, because you need a covering. You got to have a covering. Oof, because you're too unhinged to think for yourself. You can't go out there and be doing all that. You need a covering. This is why sometimes men get very nervous when you start gaining more knowledge. And the more a woman is out and doing her own thing, when she's moving in her own way and she starts to get more and more information, men become very threatened by that, because the more you learn about yourself, the more you learn about relationships, the more you learn about the intricacies of womanhood and the intricacies of relationships and the intricacies of societal norms and societal expectations. And then you start to understand your worth, and your value goes up and up and up as you start to transform into your most authentic self, and you get more and more close to enlightenment. Men begin to get nervous about that, because what happens is that you move the goalposts and they can't keep up with the goalposts. And so what happens is they get very flustered and they get frustrated because the goalpost has moved, because they remember when you didn't know yourself. Well, I remember when my wife, or when I remember when she used to be like this and she used to be like that, but you met me when we were 18. I'm literally 40, or I'm literally 45 now, or I'm literally 35. What are you talking about? You evolve over time. They want you to stay 18 in the head. They want you to stay 14 in the brain. Because when a man does not evolve, there's only, oof, here we go. There's only need-based behaviors that he expects out of the woman. He's only need-based. There's no evolution taking place. When you are in spaces, when you start to learn skills, when you start to learn who you are, when you start to become more into your identity and you start to learn yourself and you start increasing your value, this is even when jobs get nervous. When you stop acting like that job is everything and all things, and you stop acting like it's God to you, and you stop acting like it's an idol to you, and you stop acting like you need everything in this company, and I don't want to walk away from my company. And then you start that business over here, and it starts doing good. So your energy is now taken away from that. And I don't care what nobody say. Every time this has happened, they always got approached for raises or promotions every single time. When that person begins to grow over here in their own business and they start to make connections and they start to flourish, they start to generate revenue, what happens, and they don't say anything over here, to the company, what happened? They'll approach that person and say, you want to, we got a job opening, or we got a director position open. We got this position open. They start to talk to you because they can see the energy has changed with you. And you're not in need-based behavior. You're not asking the manager, what can I do? You're not staying late like you used to. You're not working through lunch like you used to catch up on your emails. You now going to your car and doing meetings. You're now getting off work at 5 o'clock on the dot, or 4:30 on the dot, or 4 o'clock on the dot, to get home so you can do your sessions or do your calls or whatever, do your social media stuff, because your energy is now going into other places. You've created a structure for yourself. You are now becoming the builder of your own destiny, and they see that, because when destiny changes hands, they were responsible for it at first. I know what I'm talking about. It happens every time. That energy begins to change. So now they're coming up with all kinds of stuff. Same thing. Why do you think when men don't care? When you care. When a woman is acting in her need-based behavior in the institution, you see all this moving together? You see all this moving together? And the man don't be caring. And then as soon as you stop caring, when you start moving back into the dark, when you go into dark feminine, and you learn how to be, you decenter him, and you, even because when we married, you become a black cat instead of a golden retriever. All of a sudden, well, what's wrong with you? Well, where you going? No, what do you mean where I'm going? I'm just going to the gym. You going to the gym now? Where you going to the gym now? Anything to get you to what? Stay. Bobby Hemming said the same thing. That's another video. I love Bobby Hemming, y'all. And he said that this is why men stop caring. When women care, men don't care. When women start acting interested in the boy and interested in the man and very interested, and the man, they don't care. But as soon as she stopped caring, Mika, as soon as you stop caring, he wants his family to stay together. I want my family to stay together. I'm good. Because it's destabilizing. Yo, you see how I just put all that together? Okay, education. Let's go there. Because I got one for that too. Well, wait, don't. What you mean you're going to go into entrepreneurship full time? What are you talking about? You're pulling that tuition money out. That's money to keep the institution flourishing, to keep these jobs rolling. Church. You start pulling away. All of a sudden, all these prophetic dreams coming up. Well, Lord wants you to stay faithful to the ministry. Wait a minute. Anything where you're pulling your services, your skills, and your money away, and you start centralizing it into yourself. Because what happens then? You start to understand structuring your own self, and you start understanding your own destiny. But I'm going to say this also. There is nothing wrong with you being in any of these institutions as long as you're in it for your own right and your own consent, and you're doing it from your own consciousness. Because all prophets ain't prophets. Some of them are monitoring spirits. And even when you get into entrepreneurship, there are monitoring spirits that you got to be careful of. There's some people that's watching you hand and foot and want to stay close to you because they want to keep a hand on you. Because what if you get big? They want to know what you're doing. They want to know what you're working on. They want to know what you're trying out. They want to know what your product is. They want to know what they want to know. They want to know. When you go quiet, they want to know where you at. But they don't ask about your well-being. See, you got entrepreneurial friends that ask you about your well-being, how you doing, girl, and we talk about other things. But if it's always about, girl, what you working on, what you doing, what how much money you making, they always want to know about your business and what you're working on. Because there's a little bit they want to infuse into their own business. So you have to be careful about monitoring spirits. Okay? Because some people are under the umbrella of your anointing, and that's the only way that they are flourishing even in themselves, because they're trying to take itty bitty pieces from you in order to thrive in their own way, but they want to get it without investing at the level that you invested in. See, that's why you got to be careful, and you can't let the right hand let the left hand know what it's doing. You got to be careful there. Sometimes you got to shut your mouth and focus on your own bread and your own structure. Because even if because people will take your name, the complete program that you've created, as their own and call it almost the same thing that you call yours. They'll take all your products and rename it. They'll take your entire value proposition as theirs. They'll copy your content word from word. They will study your entire content, your entire profile and feed, and sound like you, talk like you, mannerisms like you. Trademark your name. Take your what is it called? Your URLs and your domains. And you lose out and they win. You know why? You know why? Because even because you didn't know it, you're still responsible. And now you got to change your entire platform. You got to change all your stuff because you didn't take responsibility and ownership of your own actions and decisions and outcomes. They did it for you. Even out in entrepreneurship, even out in freedom, you got to start completely over because you didn't stand on business about you. You didn't take ownership. Woof. You did not take ownership of everything that you have. There's nothing wrong with being inspired. I want to make sure I'm being very, very clear. There's nothing wrong with being inspired. Oh, wow, Sahana. I'm so sorry about that. I can't tell you how many people bit off my content. And because, and this was an issue with my last TikTok account. Because I saw huge creators look at my content and literally quoted me word from word. And because I had less followers than them, it made it look like that they originated a lot of the J-isms that I used to say. And I thought to myself, like, oh, how can you let this happen? I'd be like, wait a minute, I can't get mad at God about this. I can't get mad at God about this. Because there are some things that I have to protect. So we have to be oh so careful about even some of the content that we produce. Now, I will say this. Now, when I've had clients, that I have people that come to me and be like, they are kind of writing like you, coach. Well, this girl, like, I just want to let you know, I don't know if somebody, you know, and that person will be my client. And I'll be like, it's my client because I teach my clients a certain way to write and all that kind of stuff. So there'll be some people that look like they're mimicking me, but it's actually a client. You see what I'm saying? Or they're a person that bought one of my products and teaching them how to write. And so you have to be very conscientious and protect your anointing at all costs. And then you got to understand when to stand on business about owning who you are, because this is the thing. Your downloads, your spiritual, and see, people don't know, like, I don't consume a whole bunch of content. Like, there are certain content creators that I follow, and it's not a dig at anybody. It's not because but because I am a creator in my business, and because much of my business requires that I create, I only listen to a certain number of people. I can't take everybody's content. As much as I would love to sit on everybody's live and just consume everybody's live and support everybody, I just don't have the bandwidth. Because to be a creator and to create content at the magnitude and volume that I do, it requires me to be still sometimes and to cut off reading everybody's posts or reading what everybody is saying, because what you don't want to do is take someone's inspiration as your own and feed off of that when it did not originally come from your spirit nature. Because a lot of the times my content comes from downloads, which is why also I read a lot and I write a lot and I sit and reflect. Even though it looked like JB on 10, much of my content is, especially on threads, straight up automation. It's all scheduled. Because threads is just that girl. LinkedIn, most of my content is scheduled. So I want us to understand a couple of things. You still have to be responsible for what you don't know. And it's still your responsibility to fill in the gaps. I don't care what they do out there. I don't care what they sound like out there. I don't care what so-and-so said to you. But if you're going to continue to outsource your ownership to other people, you are always going to be under the thumb of somebody else's power. You will never own your own. The Contrarian Collective, we are going to dig into those pieces. Like I said, all my mindset content is going to go into that membership. My Stand store is about to drastically change. Drastically change. We're streamlining everything. Because we got to go at this point. And the only way to go is straight up. And that's just what it is. So if you want to stay connected to me starting in February, I suggest you get into the Contrarian, because I can already hear y'all. When you going to go live again in the Contrarian? Because see, I have to put my energy into spaces to help women build structure so they can stop making excuses about why they keep being wishy-washy about the destiny that God told them to build. Because see, at this point, it's sink or swim. Because I'm not trying to have y'all out here digging through trash cans trying to find your next snack. That ain't happening. So you are responsible for filling in the gaps in your life by any means necessary. And I don't care if you got to fight your past to do what you got to do. If you are in a Contrarian, put a heart in the chat, or a heart in the comments, or a heart in the comment section. Because I know I had some people to pay in full. I know Sahana's in there. I know a few other women, but we have to start deciding what we are going to do about our future. And it really does come to that part. You have to be responsible for that. And some of y'all are stalling on that. And to be honest, I'll say this and we're going to get off of here. In order for us to learn how to navigate through the spaces of freedom, it's going to take you understanding how to manage time before you can learn how to manage sums of money that is bigger than what you have normally managed before. You are only given, this is why you are only given money in bite-sized amounts. A lot of women cannot take $100,000 up front. It's the chat broke. Everybody's asleep. I don't know if y'all went to sleep or not. You got to go and get the help that you need so that you can learn how to be free. I'm just telling you. So we're going to have to learn how to be free. Some of y'all going to be looking for me. I'm in the vineyard. I'm working. I'm in the field. And when I say in the field, in a structured field, helping women create their own structure. Because when it's time to go, it's time to go. Mindset is a lot of y'all's issue. And I know you want to fight me on that, and it's okay. Because I can give you strategy all day on many hill beans till you put the work in. And I don't care if you at 5K a month. I don't care if you at 10K. I don't care if you at 100K. And I really don't care if you at 200K. It don't matter. We got to stop being lazy about ownership. Because I'm going to tell you now, y'all are trying to market yourselves, because I see it all the time. You're trying to market yourselves so that you can show people in the institutions. I peep a game. I'm telling y'all, I'm seeing you out here. Y'all are auditioning to come back into the spaces of institutions so that you can find security, because a lot of y'all don't know how to be secure on yourself. And this is why you'll always be looking out the window, looking at everybody else win. You like, I wish I could have that life, but I just don't trust myself because I need covering. I need somebody to show me how to manage my money. I need somebody to give me my money in bite-sized amounts every 2 weeks. And not be paid every day, and not be responsible for my own income. Not learning how to emotionally take care of myself. Not learning how to navigate and wake up with a structure. Not knowing how to pivot. Not knowing how society and power structures work, because the world does not speak woman, but I want somebody to hear me and see me. And see that I'm just surrounded by so many problems that I'm not emotionally competent to solve, because I need somebody to do it for me. I need somebody to tell me what to do. I need somebody to tell me what God is telling, what I should do next, because I don't trust myself with my own word, and I don't trust myself with my own vision. So I got to rely and chase after prophetesses and prophets when they come in town, because I need a word from the Lord, because I'm too afraid and too nervous, and I'm not confident in myself to trust what God is saying to me and directly to me, because I don't know the difference between me and my ego. I don't want to do it by myself. So I'm willing to just put up with a man and put my destiny on the floor and let somebody just walk all over it, because I don't trust myself to work in my own destiny. Oh my God, coach, the economy is so bad. What economy? What are you talking about? My client just booked a 3-week. I gotta go. What'd she say? The economy is so bad. Everybody need to wake up. Wait a minute. Let me help you. Because what are you talking about? My client, okay. My client just got her first pay in full. $5,000. Somebody paid $5,000. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, girl? Because my client literally, let me go back. I'm in Voxer. Because I gotta go back and look at what she said. Because I'm tired of y'all lying. Everybody is ain't no man. The economy is so bad. Come on, Voxer. There we go. Uh, she literally just booked her a 3-week European vacation to go to Europe. I mean, what are y'all talking about? Oh, I'm sorry, not 3 weeks. I'm sorry, 5 weeks. 5 weeks. And she's having an event in London. My client, like my mentorship client, like, so what realm are you living in? Jay, when you gonna have a retreat? When you gonna have it? Now I ain't gonna have no retreat. What makes you think I want one? I don't have to. One of the things about me, and you will find this out about me, some of y'all will understand this. I teach my clients how to be bold in the things that they want to do. Okay. It's not about what they copy me. Do you understand? If they want to do a group program, we're going to do a group program. If they want to open a membership, we're going to help them open a membership. We're going to do it methodically, but we're going to help them. If they want to transition from service-based to being a coach or consultant in some way, then we're going to help them transition from do things for done for you to doing with you or doing without. I don't teach my clients to copy me. I teach them a framework, and then from there, they soar. And I just help them with the pieces of staying focused on the mindset part and self-concept. Strategy comes first, and then after that, they soar. The ones who want to, anyway. Okay? So I want to make sure this is very clear. So when I see my clients doing things like hiring and all these other things, my job is to empower them, support them, throw them into the promised land. I got clients that make way more money than me. That's supposed to happen. Do y'all not understand how coaches work? Coaches, you're supposed to coach people that's more successful than you. You know that, right? You got all these people out here telling you not, well, you can only be coached by somebody that's been there. No, not. Coaches don't have to have any experience in what they're coaching in. Did anybody tell you that? That's a whole nother lie. Mm-hmm. So you need to understand you got mentorship and you have coaching. So coaching, you don't have to necessarily have experience. I've coached people to $1 million. I have never made $1 million in my business, ever. And I say that with boldness. I'm successful in my business, but I have never made $1 million in my business yet. Not yet. But it has happened. I'm very confident in my ability to do that, but that doesn't mean that I'm not worthy enough. They have a different life than me. I always tell people, like, some of my clients got a whole different life than I do. I'm a single mother, not using Maddie as an excuse, but that's just what it is. Some people don't have a whole lot of things going on in their life, particularly. And so you don't know people's time, and you don't know their business models. You don't know what they're going through and things of that nature. So when I hear women talk about, well, I really want to do this and I don't know if coach can help me, have you ever asked? No. And then many times what you think you need and what you think you want, you don't even need that. You just be talking because you heard somebody else say it. And you're not even ready for that level. A lot of y'all are stuck in need-based conversations. This is why a lot of us gravitate towards information that only allows us to feel good in the moment, but we never take that information and do some real deep surgical things to start the work and to get into the spaces so that the work can be done. This is only encouragement. The real change happens behind the gate. And I'm not telling you to pay me because I really don't care. I want to make sure it's very clear. Jay's trying to sell us and Son's trying to give our money. First of all, if it's like that, then please keep your money. Don't give me anything, baby. You need it more than I do. But if you want to put and sow into your mind, sowing into your mind is a lot more about you than it is about me. I want to make sure I'm very clear on it. And I'm going to call a couple of people to the carpet. I just appreciate several women in this chat because I've had women to invest in the standard, and then I've had them same women to come and invest in the contrarian, and then also invest in other programs and stuff that I've done. So it's because they want to stay in connection and in community with coaches that are actually speaking into their soul. Because this is not about just making money. It's about staying the path. And there are a certain amount of people in this world that is assigned to you. And some people can't go to the next level, even in their own destiny, until they come by way of you. So some of y'all are even locked out in your own next portal because you're not even being obedient, stepping into spaces where you are sowing into your future because you don't know enough to speak into your own soul. Your soul has to be, come on, somebody, it has to be optimized for this next level. It has to be activated. I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you, sometimes the reason why you're not going anywhere because you don't have enough information. I don't care how many times I can go live all day, all night, every day, every day, every day. And if you are not putting that money in and sowing into where you're going, because you got to sow to where you go. Because the seed is the seed. And that's why I told y'all, some of y'all, I invested in so many different things. We'll keep your money then. And maybe it's just done. Because that's a part of it too. Some of y'all are so tired of investing in different things. And it's because you don't understand work ethic and you don't understand that you're still in institutional prisons. You're still in institutional spaces. And you're not trying to learn what it takes to come out of those institutional spaces because you have not gave yourself permission to learn how to be free in a structured space and create a structure for yourself. So you remain unstructured. I'm telling you, it's a rabbit hole. It's a whole rabbit hole. And I really, really want y'all to understand that it is a rabbit hole. And if you don't be careful, you are going to stay stuck in these structured spaces without any structure for yourself, and you will unravel and you will loop out. That's how, when I see women crash out all the time online, that's a structured woman, an unstructured woman in structured spaces. She needs a place. This is why you got a lot of women that, because I can't believe that y'all ran it, not y'all, but I can't believe women ran off that girl that was the Cooking with Jay or whatever her name was. Somebody said that, and I was like, are you kidding me? Y'all ran, the women ran the girl off of it? Men went crazy for that content creator, and women talk so bad about that girl that y'all ran her off and got her account banned? That's insanity. That's crazy. But this is why a lot of times women have to go into spaces and vomit online about all of their insecurities onto other women because they don't have the courage to do that to the institutions that's babysitting them every day. It's keeping them on their best behavior. So social media is the space where they can go out and have a taste of freedom, but instead of them building online, they are taking that time to actually attack other women for doing the things and for being audacious and courageous in their own creativity, even if their primary audience is men. Some women don't like that, to the point where they get so unhinged and so mad because those men are not paying attention to them. Going back to what I just said, need-based behavior it includes attention. This is why sometimes y'all get, women get mad when managers don't pay attention to them when they want to, they want a promotion and all this kind of stuff. And you looking at somebody, they're giving all this person all this attention over here, and it's not fair, and it's not fair, and it's not fair. Well, it's not fair. Is it unfair because they're not paying attention to you? Or if I give someone a direct answer and it's, well, I don't think you're being very nice. What are you talking about? And so that's why you have to be very conscientious of how people are moving right now and how they're talking. And it's just so much stuff going on. And I'm going to tap here. And this is only because I have been in those spaces in HR, worked HR for 10 years. This whole dismantling of DEI got everybody in an uproar. All that stuff was fake. It was just fake. It was all fake. Okay, so it's Cooking with Kaya. Okay, so I just heard of her, Sana. Mika said that's so sad. Mm-hmm. The DEI thing, everybody's very in an uproar about that. Diversity was never a thing. Black women, and I'm gonna tap into Black women real quick. Black women make up 63% of the labor force. And when I say contributed to the labor force, I'm talking even on the front line level. 63%. This was 2022, I believe, somewhere around there, 2022, 2020, kind of in that round. Department of Labor Relations. I'm trying to tell you, the doing away with the DEI, I'm going to tell you what it really truly is. I hope y'all are ready for this. And this is really going to hit hard because a lot of people are not going to receive it as well. And I really don't care, but that's, again, you're responsible for your own emotions, but I'm telling you what it is. What they're not saying is that Black folk had a chance to catch up and they did not. Quote unquote. Okay. Now I want you to understand what I just said. We actually did well, but because we didn't stand against the institutions, we fell flat into it and stayed at the bottom of those institutions. And we never, ever really gave it our all. We sought to be accepted in these institutions. I'm going to say that again. We didn't use the institutions to come up. We use the institutions to be accepted. Did y'all see when you look at our other counterparts or people of color, they use the institutions to create in their own community and our own culture. We decided to give up ours in so many ways. Now, do we do well in athletics? Do we do well in come on. We do well in sports. We do well in, but even still with sports, you still had to be managed. Even as a celebrity or in the arts, in music, you still had to have somebody you reported to. Mm-hmm. Mika said it was never a thing when Black women have all these degrees, but their counterparts have to have degrees in arts. Mm-mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what we did was we looked to be accepted. See, that's the part you're not listening to. It's not the fact of DEI. It's just that we use DEI for the wrong thing. We wanted to be accepted in these realms of supremacy. I know what I'm talking about. White women were the greatest and the biggest beneficiaries of DEI. That's the part they're not telling you either. But the face of DEI was Black women. The ones that benefited were women, white women. I love everybody. I'm going to stand 10 toes down on it. And I say that with all the love in the world. But I told y'all race was going to come out of the equation. Now we're going to go into class. I told you that. I told you that race was going to be no longer a thing. You can't claim that I'm a Black woman, I'm a Black woman. None of that matter no more. Where you at? Where you at on the socioeconomic scale? Where you at? Because that's what's going to matter now. It ain't got nothing to do with this. Everybody on the same level playing field. Everybody. That could be a good thing and a bad thing. But we already know how this works because you're going to need spirit to navigate through these spaces now. You can't, I'm a Black woman, I'm a Black woman. So what's your point? Do you have the money? No. Do you have the money to do this? Okay. Well, but if you have money, then okay, we can have a conversation. Well, they keep moving the goalposts. They keep moving what's necessary. Now degrees are not accepted by corporations anymore. Like they don't care about degrees anymore. You know why I don't care about degrees? Yeah, you could say Black women got, all the degrees. Yeah, absolutely. That's what yeah, you can say surface level if you're not looking at the whole grand scheme of things. But how you got all these Black women, they got degrees. Okay, congratulations. But where your husband's at? Where you mean? They ain't getting them like that. So now all you got all these women out here just winging it. We starting businesses. Okay, you are. We're the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs. You're absolutely correct. But when I look at your money, though, when I look at your revenue, you're on the bottom. Look it up. I'm making this up. I don't care about the fastest growing. I look at the numbers. Black women are lowest on totem pole when it comes down to revenue. You ain't making no money, baby. Anybody can wake up and say they're an entrepreneur, but who's making cash flow? And some of y'all ain't got your stuff even structured right. You ain't even got your LLCs and your S corps. You ain't got you don't want to file your tax because you're scared and all this. You ain't doing anything with them. Just winging it. You're spontaneous. You're client here, client there. $25 here, $50 there. It's something. It's nothing, to be honest. You're not making enough. That's why you gotta have 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs. Talking about you trying to feed into your business, baby. If you would just use skills, you need to learn skills. It ain't got nothing to do with feeding your business with second, third, fourth incomes from jobs. That's the entire purpose. You gotta have skills. Nobody's telling you that. Everybody else is learning skills but you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This is why you're behind. And then that's not even talking about the men. Because they're really like 2 steps away from wearing lashes. All of them. I'm telling you. So, I mean, well, I think it's, you can do the whole flex thing when it comes down to, fastest growing. Well, but we have so many systemic, no, you don't. When they were trying to give Black women grants and, investing and stuff, and they shut us down. Did you seek to get invested in? Or did you invest in yourself? Because, you got a job. That's what you said. If you got a job, you should be investing in yourself. See, when I start talking about personal responsibility, people will get triggered by that because it's groupthink that a lot of us want to be in. And there's no progression in groupthink. There's nothing progressive about groupthink. Yeah. Mika, and it's Black men. It's Black men that stay in these wigs. Right. Absolutely. You don't see very many other men in other groups that are doing the amount of wig wearing that our men do. And they can play us super, super well. And I'm not saying this as a dig, and I'm not saying this as a dig at all, but Black women, from my understanding, we are probably the largest group that get our beauty standards from men who, from gay men. So, Hannah, thank you. Thank you for the stat. Let's look at the numbers. She said, oh my God, yes, 88% of women entrepreneurs never even reach $100,000. So look at Black women though. Black women, we don't do well when it comes down to longevity. We're in and out too much. We start businesses. Yes, I get it. Why we start businesses? We start businesses because we're frustrated with corporate systems, going back to institutions, right? We're going to open up an LLC in a minute. We'll try to anyway. Or we'll say, I'm just going to start my little whatever. But we don't go the extra mile. We don't do the work that it takes to own. But then the ones who do own, y'all call those women masculine. Because those women are learning the skills. See, women like me, when they see me working, you got to take care of yourself. Why do y'all say that to women who are out here doing the work? But you don't say the same thing to women who are working 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs. You don't say that to women who take work home. You don't say the same thing to educators. You'll tell them, girl, just take care of your mental health. It's not about their mental health. It's their soul is in grieving against capitalism. But not learning how to navigate through a system that wants to suppress your creativity and the love for what you do. I don't mind working for myself. I would rather work 12 hours for myself than to work 12 hours for someone else. I don't care what you say. And everybody don't have to have the same story. But be careful of how you're saying it, because even women that tell you about all this stuff that, oh my God, take care of yourself. Check what institution bucket they're in. They're going to tell you everything. I told you a lot of women do not like free women. A lot of women, even out here in entrepreneurship, they still don't like you being free. Women, it triggers some women when they see a woman like myself that is a single mother and I'm okay and doing great at what I do. They'll call me hyper independent. And I'm like, girl, I don't do oil changes. I do not do oil changes. I do not do mechanic work. I don't change my own tires. I don't do my own oil changes. I don't do none of that stuff. Oh, honey, I will outsource in a minute when it comes down to stuff like that. But it's irritating and frustrating for women in institutions. And I'm calling it out on the carpet. There are women in institutions right now. It bothers them to see free women. And they'll say, oh, why don't you want to get married? Why don't you want a husband? I'm not talking against anybody. If you want a husband, baby, get your husband. I didn't say, I told women I said, I don't, marriage does not interest me in America. I don't want anybody here. I don't want to take no more bets. I don't want to take no more gambles on any more men because I'm about one heartbreak away from a lavender marriage. And I'm telling you straight up, I'm done. I don't mind companionship, but I'm not living with no man. I don't want to. I have my child. I'm about to be an empty nester in a year and a half. Probably, she probably gonna come with me too. You know how children are there these days and how mamas are, you know, it is what it made it probably gonna, nah, I mean, I'm going to college, but where you going? But it bothers some women to see other women free. It bothers some women to see other women create. It bothers some women to see other women living out their own destiny. And some women just they gotta see you in an institution. They have to see you in one. I don't go to church, right? I stopped going to church. It bothers women that I don't go to church. What's wrong? Is it church hurt? Is it church hurt? Is it church hurt? You just need to go to a different church. Why do I have to go to a different? Why can I just not go to another church? And then they'll say, tell me, because I've been married twice, right? And I'll say, I'm done, right? I don't want to. I don't want to get married again. But oh man, I like that. And maybe just having it go on. I'm like, girl, I don't want to look. Do you know how much I lost in those two marriages? That's trauma. But it's trauma. That's why you need to, girl. I don't care. I do not care. I tried it. It ain't for me. I don't want to do no more. And they don't want to they don't like that kind of conversation. Some people want you to need. They gotta see you need. Does it make sense? Yeah, it's the money part too. But let's just take it from the standpoint of they don't even go to your church. It's women that don't even live in the same state I do. And they don't even like invite me to their churches. What about you don't go to church? You don't are you a Christian? So now I'm not a Christian because I don't go to church. So we put that, do you believe in God? Because I don't go to church. So it's all of those things that lack the critical thinking that what I'm talking about. And then when people go back to corporate, they cheer women like that on. Like, oh, girl, you got to do what you have to. Yes, girl. Oh, I'm so proud of you. You got to do that for your mental health. What? Okay. And then they get on there and 3 months in, they're like, oh, I should have never done this because you don't belong there. And women will actually tell you, like when you get a divorce, and you'll be like, man, I had a failed marriage. Oh, girl, you didn't fail. A divorce is not failure. You won. No, I failed. A marriage failed. That's what a divorce is. It's a demise of a marriage. You're saying that I won, but you don't even know the circumstances by which I had to go through. What are you talking about? But let's say personally, I got victory by coming out of a failed marriage, but a divorce is a failed marriage. Duh. That's what divorce is. You go to court. And then ask you when you're gonna get married again. You gonna get married again? What's wrong? I've had women to come in my inbox and demand answer. You got to tell me why you don't want to get married again, because I just see you as a wife. I know I carry the posture of a wife, but I still don't. I carry the posture of a wife because they see me as a mother, and I've been married before. And there is an energy that some of us carry of a wife. I've told people that I think it is a posture. It is a spirit that's on us. That's why I feel like that's what the Bible says, that he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor. So a wife is a posture. It's an energy. It's an embodiment. But it is not always a flex either. And I'm not trying to downplay the word wife, because women sometimes when they become wives, they think they're hired. I used to have the same mentality, especially the first time I got married. I used to think, and getting cheated on the whole time. I'm just telling you. A ring is not always a flex. You got to have some discernment, baby. Because you got domestication, and then you got a woman who is wise and can navigate through spaces, and that man got to tap into and understand that this wife, I ain't, this is my toolkit right here, baby. This is my secret weapon to mastering out here. So you can look at that in two different ways. Don't get me started. It's a whole nother life. But a lot of women are still, you're responsible for what you don't know. You're responsible for what you don't know. So you got to be careful. Mm-hmm. Oh, son, I used to get that a lot. I used to get that a lot. Do you believe in God? God is in what do you mean energy? Why do you say universe? But you know what? I used to be a holy roller too. And I used to say the same thing. And not no, because again, it's going back to need-based behavior, right? It was need-based, it's a lack of critical thinking, it's a lack of expansion of the God mind, right? Not understanding who you are, what you do, and how you move through these pieces. But it's energy in terms of women having issues with other free women. They don't like you in abundance. They don't like you owning your own destiny. You need a person over you. You need a covering. When you leave institutions, when you threaten institutions, when you get out of institutions, they want to know, why are you leaving? You're called to do this. You're supposed to be doing this, because it rattles the system. Free women are a threat. Is it challenging? Sometimes it can be if you let it. Shut up, Mika. My cousin called me not too long ago, bringing me back to Christ, and I need to go back in church. I've had that. Listen, I want y'all to know, ain't nobody stronger than me. I'm just playing. I'm being funny when I say this, but I have a father that's a pastor. Okay, I have a father that's a pastor, mother first lady. When I tell you, church is in every single conversation, and don't let me start talking about, Sunday, I just slept in there like, we really could use you at church. I know you doing your thing or whatever. I don't know what you're doing at. See, this is another thing. I don't know what you're doing out here. It's called living. Sunday, I sleep in. It bothers people when they see you sleeping in. Because they're up in institutions. Girl, you know, we really just need somebody to come in and just do a little bit of talking to the children. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Because because the knowledge that I've gained, I've been turned everybody from the church. Everybody be walking out. You don't want, see, this is why you got to be careful, because when you out here and you free, you gain knowledge that's beyond the need-based information that you're being fed. So people get cautious about even bringing you back and talking to people in, because they're afraid that you're going to empower them. This is why a lot of time entrepreneurship is not encouraged in the church, especially in the poor churches, like churches that ain't got no money. They do not want you empowered, and they don't want to talk about entrepreneurship. They want you to go to work. They're going to work the job. This is why they allow, you know, when you, it's more and more as you grow as an institution, right? And you become a mega church or a bigger church, then now we got to bring what politics into the conversation. This is why we bring politicians into the church to talk about subjects and matters of society when it don't make no sense. When you say that's a whole different, like, can you circle back with those lives? I be trying to, y'all gotta help me remember. Child, can you write that down and send it to me via Facebook DMs? Like, just give me the, like you said, Coach, you said I need to make a list, because I be saying stuff, and like that clip from Beyonce where she was saying that we're gonna tonight. I forgot that song. See, Matt ain't around. But anyway, Cuff It. Yeah, Cuff It. And she was doing the little thing, and so she was like, I'm so glad you recorded, because I'm not gonna remember none I just said. That's one of the moments. That's one of the moments. That's one of the moments. Okay. So send it to me when you can. Please do not feel like you have to do it today. Mika said, I started talking about how sick the church is and how they need to go on a Daniel fast. And they said, leave me alone. Well, this is why a lot of times I don't even like listen to fat prophets. I just think the people of God, like, if you're going to be a child of God and you are just like your belly is over your belt and all this kind of stuff, and you talking about you heard from God, there is no way you heard from God with their belly over your belt like that. That's ridiculous. I just don't believe it. I just don't. And I'm sorry. And you can call me whatever you, and I could tell when prophets have lost their power, because when they get overweight, they lose it. And I'm just being honest. Because the church is sick. Church is falling out. Like, it's when I used to go and see certain, like I grew up in choir and all this kind of stuff. My family sings and all that. And we used to go to gospel concerts and stuff back in the day. Because, you know, Memphis is Mecca for gospel, baby. Memphis, Clark Sisters, Orlando Draper. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Mecca from church. J Moss, if you know J Moss, all these people used to come, like Church of God in Christ, Convocation. I grew up going, honey. Okay. And back then, people used to be thin. So that's why I said, like, a lot of power in the church gone, because everybody just started eating church chicken, Popeyes, all that kind of stuff. Back then, them folks used to be thin. I used to be like, what happened to the power? Sick. Sick. So then you come out and you start to recognize how sick folk are. And you be like, oh, okay. Okay. That's the reason why nothing is happening, because everybody's sick now. So power ain't even, the conduits are done. Exactly. So freedom ain't free. It's going to cost you something. Welcome, Cha. Is it Cha? Shay? Shay? She just came into the contrarian. I just got the notification. Welcome, welcome, welcome. But Mika said my mother used to get mad when I told her I'm not praying for sickness. Turn the plate over. It really is about fasting. You say fasting. People take that as I'm fasting from 8 to 10. 8 in the morning, 10 o'clock at night. No, girl, I remember, I ain't gonna say what church it was, but I remember in this church, they said they had like, oh, we're gonna fast on Tuesdays and Thursdays between 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock noon, 9 a.m. to 12 o'clock. I'm like, that's skipping breakfast. That's not fasting. It's literally skipping a meal. And then for you to skip a meal and go and fry chicken, and then you wonder why you don't hear anything, that's one of the biggest reasons why. And it's mainly because we eating fake stuff. A lot of people just ask, somebody else asks, why are they getting rid of what is it called? FDA and all this kind of stuff. The FDA is approving all of these fake foods, and you're eating like pretty much if we're and I'm about 88% sure of this, most of our food is fake anyway, including the meat. Because I already told y'all, for those of y'all been following me for a minute, like they were trying to get humans to veganism by 2025. So most of us are vegans and don't even know. It's just we still sick because they got all these dyes and chemicals and stuff like that in our food. But ain't nobody gonna protest it, but we'll doggone sure get in the streets, baby, for TikTok. That's what I don't understand. I just think it's crazy to me. It's completely the most interesting thing I've ever seen in my life. Diabolical, if you will. We won't protest for the food and the dyes in the food. But something happens to us when TikTok is taken away. And I get the whole money thing. I'm not saying that you can't act a fool over the money because I get it. TikTok was the place where people was getting the coins. And I understand that. But nobody had anything to say about the meat turning into something else, stem grown or whatever they call it, stem cells or whatever, lab grown meat. Nobody got in the streets for that. Nobody got in the streets for that. No, ma'am. Nobody got in the streets for pharmaceutical stuff. But when we talk about herbs and like Mika was saying, herbs and holistic wellness, we gotta scratch our scalp about that. Well, what it's got in it, girl? Because I can't do. I take this medicine and this medicine and this medicine. It's gonna kind of, well, first of all, get off of that trash. Silly. That stuff tearing up your kidneys and your liver. But you have the audacity to question God's remedy for your health. Because I told people you're really supposed to be like fruits and vegetables. Like you're really supposed to be fruit. Anything with seed. Mika, I'm about to Mika plays so much on this chat. 3D printed meat or whatever they're trying to do. I can't. Because that's what it is. 3D, I mean, like they literally show you what it looked like when they print the meat out. My body is just not, because it's fake. That's why your anxiety level in 10x. My stomach is just not, because it's fake. I'm just breaking out because the food is fake. Why your anxiety going? My anxiety just went up. I'm really, because the food is fake. The men are just not the same. The food is fake. It goes all the way back to the food, to be honest. I have told people the reason you see fibroids going up and you see yeah, I'm about to okay, I gotta get off of here for real. I really do. I gotta get off here because I gotta go to bed. Now I'm gonna be straight up. This is why if you can't hear anything, and you know what I mean by hear, he that hath an ear, she that hath an ear, let them hear. Okay. When it comes down to hearing, you will, when you're clogged, and when I say clogged, you know what I mean? Not just waist wise, but you're taking all this stuff in and it's not real. And it's messing with your ability to tap in because it's messing with the bacteria in gut. Women's primary spiritual navigation system is their what? Gut. Their gut is their first mind. Intuitive thinking comes from the gut. So when your gut is all jacked up, I would tell women, two things. When you spazzing out and crashing out, it's two things. It's two things. Number one, you need to go take a poop. Okay? You need to go take a poop. Number two, you need to stop eating so much stuff that ain't got like it's not feeding and fueling the body for what it needs in order to run effectively. And then on top of that, you ain't drinking enough water. And then you got to get the right water because all water ain't water. All water ain't good water. All water ain't real. Clock that T. I need to be quiet because you to tell me shut your mouth. Because you know they'll do that real quick. Well, so how the same. People like, girl, I'm like, my blood pressure is fine. First of all, I don't eat all that. Well, you know, we having ribs. You can keep it, baby. Cause see, I don't know how many women depending on me to help them navigate through their destiny. And I gotta stay clean and I gotta keep my nervous system together. And I gotta keep my portal open. And that's another thing too. If you're going to be advising people on their destiny and what they're supposed to be doing with their life, I need you to clean up your diet. Take a probiotic, get you some herbs, get you some teas, and you need to start getting yourself together. All food ain't food. So a lot of these regulatory systems, and I'm not agreeing with everything this man is doing. I'm just being honest. I don't agree with everything. And I don't agree with all of them. Okay. I just want to make sure that's across the board because I don't care about none of this stuff, none of the politics stuff. But a lot of the stuff that they're dismantling, it wasn't even as it was making us sicker. Okay. So I need y'all to like come outside of the institutions and thinking that these institutions, oh my God, what are they doing to us and why are they taking away? And he's doing this to us. First of all, stop whining. And then number two, think about what have they done? Big Pharma has, let me shut up. I gotta be careful. I'll probably say that on Facebook. I ain't gonna say it on here. Good screaming. So we gotta be oh so understanding. But you have to just flat out 100% without apology stand on firm business about you. You don't play about you. You stop playing about you, and maybe other people stop playing about you. It was not. Thank you, Mika. That's why I respect women. I'm gonna tell you, the type of women I respect are women that see for what it is and not for within the tank. Like you're in the tank and you're spilling out, and you notice the stop being on sides and this versus that. It's all of it. They all cut from the same cloth. I laid it out so eloquently on my Facebook profile. I mean, on my Facebook page when I told y'all that everybody came from the same lineage, all just about, and all from the same monarch. So before y'all be talking about who it is and then and he's it, it's all come from saying I can't stand. It's something about when women don't think and they don't think all the way and they don't start to ask questions, and it just gets on my nerves. It chaps my hide. It does something to me. It does something to me. Like, you ever want to irritate me, start talking about this stuff, and then start talking about they don't want to see us. Just know I get irritated. I usually skip over comments like that too. I usually don't even look at posts. They talk about stuff like that because it's a woman that just does not think. She's not thinking. And she's still outsourcing the responsibility of her existence on someone else. And you are responsible for your own self. You're responsible for your own emotions. You're responsible for your own destiny. You're responsible for your own income. It's just that simple. And I don't know why we don't understand that still. Okay. I'm getting ready to go. I gotta go. I gotta sit down somewhere. I gotta go. I gotta go lay down. I gotta go lay down. And I got a masterclass tomorrow. I got a free masterclass tomorrow. If you have signed up for that, sign up. If you have not signed up, sign up. Go look at my stand store. I do have a masterclass coming tomorrow, and I have one is coming up after on the 4th. And so we have to stand on business. Okay. You're responsible for what you don't know, and you're responsible for what you have learned. So even with this information you have learned tonight, I want you to go and research. I want you to spend more time researching and spend more time with asking Spirit to speak with you about different things and to gain an understanding. Okay. So we have to make more money. Your voice. I don't have time to complain about stuff I don't care about. Amen. Amen. All right, y'all. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for this beautiful 2 hours that we spent. And let's go make some more money. All right. Have a good day.